I was doing so good, and on the last day of the week, I f***ed it up. Man, hit the daily drawdown, but it's alright because we're making a lot of progress in terms of just discipline and psychological work. But let's get into the video. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is the first time that you're tuning in, my name is Lewis, and I am just simply documenting my trading journey. Please make sure you follow me on Instagram if you want to see these type of execution videos. I know that I am the first person to edit their executions in this style. If you've seen anybody else edit their executions in this style, please leave it down in the comments so that I can see it, because I haven't seen it at all, and I've been in the trading space for about a year and 6 months now. Make sure you smash that like button, make sure you smash that subscribe button, and share with a friend who is also on the trading journey. Let me know how your trading journey is going down in the comments as well, and how your trading week went. Follow me on TikTok at Lewis Visuals, and my Instagram, it's Lewis Visuals _. Now this is gonna be another backtesting session. I honestly didn't trade that much this week. I traded Monday, Tuesday. I don't think I got a trade in on Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday. And Monday and Tuesday I did amazing with my risk management and my discipline of just taking 2 trades per day. And then on Friday, that's where I messed it all up. I took 3 and then hit daily drawdown on the day. So we're gonna break down the days that I did trade and just break down the trades that you do see here in the market. But apart from that, let's hop straight into it. But before we get into the video, let's go into the sponsor of this video and my Discord. All right, we are in the sponsor of this video, Tektronix PCs. Their website is in the works right now. What you can do is message them if you're looking for the best quality PC with the best parts in the market. If you want to see the build that they did for us, you can see it here or here. It's on one of the sides, but I got a case from them and I also got RAM from them, and the process was smooth. If you want to check them out, go ahead to their Instagram at Tektronix PCs, and like I said, just message them and everything will be smooth. Their website should be up very soon, so let's just be patient with them, and that's all I really have to say. Let's hop into the Discord. All right, here we are in my Discord. The link is down in the description if you're going to join. All that I ask is that you're active in the chat. We have been very active, and I'm extremely grateful for the people who are talking in the chat. As you can see here, we've been very active this past week, and it's just getting better every week. So if you're joining, please just be active. We have about 135 members right now, and I want more people to talk. I mean, I want it to be fun. I want to, every time that I wake up, I want to go straight into the Discord, and it's been like that recently, so I appreciate you if you're in here already. If you want to learn how to trade from me, you could join the premium Discord, which you have access to all this stuff in here, and all you have to do is hit join premium. My one-on-one mentorship is also in there with all information. You can either DM me here in the Discord, in the free Discord, or you could DM me on Instagram. It's all fine. All the information for that is in there as well. Hit testimonials if you need testimonials, and you'll see everything in here. But apart from that, that is basically all I have to say in the Discord. Once again, the link is down in the description. Let's head into this video. All right, now we're in this video. This is what my annotations look like for this week. A lot of these trades were me just back testing after the sessions were over, just because I didn't have the best trading week. I had a nice trade, a really good trade on Tuesday, and then messed it all up on Friday. I could have ended the week positive, but Friday messed it up for me. And it's not like I was on the wrong side on Friday. I was on the wrong side. I was bullish Friday, and as you can see, Friday was mostly bearish, but we ended up having a Monday high of week. Let's look at this on the 1 hour real quickly just to see the weekly. Ended up having a Monday high of week all the way down to a Thursday low. As of right now, I still am somewhat bearish if I'm being honest, but like I said, this looks like a smart money reversal here, but we don't really know. With everything that's going on around the world and the stuff with Iran right now, we could be bearish. So if we are bearish, my draw on liquidity is down here with this sell side liquidity. Like I said, I'm bullish overall just based off of price action, but with everything going on right now in this setup, we could end up heading higher. But I'm going to break down the trade that I did take, which was a very nice trade, and then I'll just talk about the other trades that I framed and some paper trades that I did take. But let's do a real back testing session here, just for the for the fact that I can learn from it. You know, today's Saturday, so I wanted to back test this week myself either way to see where price went, where price stopped, where it reversed. Did I notice anything different? You know, I don't want to just justify everything off of ICT concepts, but I want to become a better trader. So all that I can do is go back on my week, reflect on it, and then keep going, keep trading, don't quit. I know me as a trader, especially with the struggles I'm having psychologically in terms of just over trading and not being able to walk away with a loss, it's hard, and I've definitely thought about quitting. It's happened so many times, and I'm just being honest, it happens, but I can't quit. I put in too much work in this, and I've built built so much in it. Like, thank you so much for the amount of support we've been getting. As you can see, we're about to hit 1,400 subscribers, so thank you so much for the amount of support. And you can see the views, it's getting better and better, but I'm just extremely grateful for everything that I got, honestly. So I wouldn't be where I was at if I quit, and I know if I keep going, it'll just get better and better. So time to keep the grind going. Let's see what this week looked like. Now let's just talk about Tuesday really quickly, because Tuesday was the day that I hit my very nice trade, very good trade on Tuesday. And then the other days I didn't trade, Wednesday or Thursday, and then Monday and Friday I took 2 L's. Well, I took L's on Monday, took L's on Friday, but Monday follow my 2 trade rule. Friday I got cooked. I can't even lie to y'all, but a really nice trade did set up. So let's just talk about it and then we'll head into the video. So here on Tuesday, I don't know if you could see it in here just because we're in the 1 hour time frame, but if you can see down here, we have a sweep of liquidity, then we sweep one more time on Tuesday, leaving an order block on the 15-minute, if I'm not mistaken. Where is it? Here we are, leaving a breaker. It looks like I lost here, a breaker order block entry, a real deep entry in here for later on in the day for a little bit of a better long after I already got out. But I entered in the pre-market, but this is the setup. Like I said, it came off of this sweep of liquidity, leaving an order block. That is my model, really. And I was a bit bullish, especially since we had this up here and this buy side liquidity right below the 50% of this fair value gap on the higher time frame. That is basically where I took the trade entry. Like I said, that line that you saw there is what I saw as the order block. As you can see, it did come down one more time and then test the last down close candle, and then it just went. But I'm gonna frame the idea that I had. You also have the 830 candle here, which is the low to high, pretty much a free trade. But I saw the higher time frame order block. We had tapped into the higher time frame order block right here, having a sweep of liquidity. Once I saw that, I waited for price to close above the last 2 down close candles with some type of fast movement, leaving a fair value gap. And then I noticed that we have an order block here on the lower time frame, so I had my limit order right there, stop below this low, and I was targeting 50 points. And honestly, I should have targeted the high. It hit in the same candle that I got out in, so I could have got out with a couple more points, probably like what, 55, so about 54 points, 55 points. But I really just targeted 50, if I'm being honest, with a 13-point stop. I usually do a 10-point stop, but I was like, let me just have it below the low just in case I get some BS today. And yeah, that is the trade that I ended up taking. And you could have also waited a little longer if you didn't want to take that in the pre-market, because after 9:30, and the 9:30 candle was what ran into my take profit, but after 9:30 they came back into the last down close candle of that order block sequence, or that sequence of down close candles on Tuesday, if you see right here. And then it just ended up being an even more precise entry, if I'm being 100% honest. So yeah, this is the new order block right here. You could have had a, I'm just gonna put OB and then let's make it a dash line so that you know the difference. So yeah, that is the order block. Let's go back to the 1 minute. All right, now here on the 1 minute, you can see it. I don't know if there's a SMT at that spot. Let's take a look at it. So yeah, as you can see right here, there is an SMT on these lows on Tuesday. So this would have been an even more higher probability trade, if I'm being honest. So as you can see here, like I said, we have a higher low on ES and a lower low on NQ. That leads basically to the perfect precise entry. You know, if you just want to enter off of that order block down here, you know, you could have had a 10-point stop in this as well, and you could have targeted the halfway point of that fair value gap that I saw in there. I think it's a 4-hour fair value gap, and could have got a 9R, basically almost a 10R, really, probably a 10R if you really wanted to. Yeah, you could have got a 10R very easily with 100 points off of that entry. Very nice entry, extremely clean fire entry. But like I said, this is the trade entry that I did take. I did not trade this because I just got off the market. Honestly, once I hit this, there's no point of me being in the market. One trade done, and yeah, this is it. But this is the trade that I should have really taken, if I'm being honest. This was in the pre-market and it's set up perfectly, so I was just like, let me just try it, and it ended up playing out. But this was even better to get about 100 points if you really wanted, and you know, not have to deal with all this later on. But that is the trade on Tuesday. Now let's head back into the higher time frame really quickly, just so that I can remove all the drawings, and then from there we'll go. So we're good now. This is what the annotations look like. This is what everybody's annotations should look like when they back test. Just pretty simple. Previous week high, previous week low. This is another low, and then this was liquidity taken recently. So this is why I'm a bit bearish as well. So like, I'm caught in between. So whatever happens on Monday will really tell us what direction we're gonna head in for the rest of the week. But let's hop into Monday really quickly, and then we'll talk about what ended up happening. So on Monday, I was taking shorts. shorts. And if you want to see the execution, it's on my Instagram at @LewisVisuals_. I was taking shorts, and as you can see at basically the 9 o'clock candle, they did come down into this 1 hour fair value gap and then just expanded towards this high of Thursday. From there, they dropped down, and I took the short on demo. Let me show you this short. This is the short on demo. I did take it, so I'll explain it once I get in there, but this is the same short. I should have just took this on my regular account, but it is what it is. It was in the afternoon session, if I'm not mistaken, that they started to dump, so it's all right. It is what it is. Let's just get back into it. All right, so as we can see, the week opened actually with a big gap down here as the new week opening gap. Let's go on the 15-minute really quickly just for that Monday right here. We opened all the way down here, already inside of this order block from last week. Now, I said last week, if you go back on the video, I said if we respect this order block, and that is an order block, I said if we respect this order block, and we did, even though we gapped down lower, if you had a stop loss below here, we would have been fine. I said if we respect this order block, we should be bullish, and we were bullish, so they just continue to head higher. And I believe I was taking shorts above this high, which is kind of dumb because, like I said, at 9:15 or so they dropped low, and at 9:45 they dropped one last time into these down close candles and then just kept going higher. There was really no, my setup did not present itself bullish, but I think I did take some shorts and it just didn't play out. So I should have just been bullish, just trusted that idea that, you know, if we kept going higher after this order block was respected, we should have just kept going higher, and that we did. Like I said, they did come down like right before market open at 9:15 into this fair value gap here and respected it. There's probably some type of entry in there, if we're being 100% honest. Now, I wouldn't take this just because it's in the pre-market. It's not the type of setup that I showed you on Tuesday, but let's see. Yeah, so I mean, they did drop below, created this big gap at 9:30, dropped one last time here at 9:35, and then again here into the fair value gap. And there's probably an S&T in there that could have been taken at 10 o'clock. I think I was taking shorts. Yeah, at 10 a.m. I think I took shorts and then it got stopped out. But at the same time, they didn't really move a lot after that. They were just kind of ranging, and it's all right because we have FOMC on Wednesday, so I wasn't expecting a lot there. But I did see the setup at night, or not night, I did see the short setup that did set up. So let's take a look here. Let's look at the 4 hour, for example, and if you see right here, they did a liquidity sweep of these highs, taking out liquidity above those highs. Now let's head back down into the 15-minute, for example. So as you can see, this is the liquidity sweep of the candles. So for me, the order block was really this here, this last up close candle, or the highest up close candle. This was the bearish order block for me, and that is what I entered off of. I was watching on demo, obviously. I saw that they came up one last time. I believe there was an SMT above these highs as well, if I'm not mistaken. Let's take a look at the 15-minute on ES. So there was an SMT right here with these highs on Monday, with a higher high on NQ and a lower high on ES. So that is where I took the trade entry. Honestly, it happened over here basically at the end of the day. Once we came back inside of that with a trade entry like this, stop above these highs, 28-point stop, and then obviously targeting, while I was targeting this low down here from Monday, and that's the idea behind that. But I also want to see why they stopped right here as to this very point here. And if we go on the higher time frame as well, you can see that price came inside of this rejection block, basically the halfway point of that rejection block, and rejected. I mean, it's very simple to see. We came up and rejected off of this 4 hour rejection block. And I just want you guys to understand that, you know, when you see big wicks like this, they're not just random. If a rejection block forms, is a reason. They're rejecting off of something, so you can do your own research and figure out exactly what they're rejecting from. Like if you see here, there's this 4 hour fair value gap, this huge fair value gap here that this rejected from. So obviously when they come back into it, it's going to reject from it. So that is the reason why I had that trade idea. But that's basically it for Monday. Either way, when it mattered, I took the wrong trade. I was taking shorts on Monday instead of taking longs, and then maybe taking shorts later on once we hit the rejection block and letting it run. But that it is what it is. You know, we just live and we learn and we go from there. But let's take a look now here on Wednesday. So Wednesday, I didn't trade. I did not touch the market on Wednesday because we had FOMC, but a very nice trade setup did end up showing itself here. I just didn't take it because, like I said, it was FOMC morning session, made a really good trade. I was not expecting it to go the way it did. I don't remember if I took it on demo or not. I took a trade in the afternoon and this is what it looked like, but no, I did not trade FOMC in the AM session, but something good did set up on that AM session, and let's take a look at it because I want to make sure that we see it. So as we can see here on Wednesday, we end up coming back down to the same order block on Tuesday night. Then we have a sweep of liquidity right here. So we end up having this sweep of liquidity. As you can see here, they're rejected off of the new week opening gap, and that's why they started to move higher. So we have a turtle swoop with a rejection off of that, meaning that our order block, if I remember correctly, is here on the 1 hour. There it is. That is the order block. This is the last down close candle before the move up, after taking this sell side liquidity and rejecting off of the rejection block. So as you can see there, that is the order block. That is where price rejected from. On the 15-minute, they came down really quickly at 9:30 into those lows. I honestly thought that they were going to expand from here, but I wasn't looking to take any trades on Wednesday AM session. I should have seen this coming. They had a very nice long, but you know what, it is what it is. I'm not gonna cry about it, but let's take a look on the 1 minute and see what it looked like. And honestly, I think I remember there was a SMT, a 1 minute SMT down here, and I will show you in a sec, but this was pretty much a position entry as well. Like the same thing that happened on Monday. The order block is right here. Could have had your entry on the order block. 10-point stop. You don't even need to have a very wide stop. It's just a trade idea to try. Boom, got tapped in at exactly 9:34, and you could have targeted the high of the day. Basically, current high of the day here would have been a very nice trade. 139 points. Are you gonna be mad with 139 points, especially if you're using micros? Like, let's be honest here, 139 points is $2,000, almost $3,000, risking 200. Are you gonna be mad at that? I don't know a single person who's gonna be mad at that. If you didn't want to take it straight off of the order block, you could have also took it here in the halfway point of the first inverse fair value gap, had your stop below the low. Obviously would have been very scary here, but if you would have been able to hold it, it was only a 17-point stop, so it's not even that bad for a good trade off of a key level. Either way, I'm pretty sure there was an SMT at that low as well, so your stop should have been below that low. If you were bullish, let's really be honest here, if you were bullish, your stop should have definitely been below that low. But like I said, it was here on the 1 minute that you can really see the SMT for this trade entry. As you can see, it was very, it's on the 1 minute, so sometimes, you know, people see it and don't really care about it. But this candle at 9:35 and the next candle at 9:36 ended up making a lower low, making a higher low on ES and a lower low on NQ. So that could have been your entry, as well as this inverse of this 1 minute fair value gap could have been an entry. Obviously having the stop at the low that was just created at the key level, so you know, it is what it is. But that was a very good entry. There was another entry on the 5 minute which showed up inside an inverse 5 minute fair value gap as well, that could have been taken here with this inverse of this 5 minute fair value gap. As you can see, basically the halfway point was tapped and then they took off. But it is what it is. That is the trade entry that I like to see here on Tuesday or Wednesday for FOMC. Now let's see, why did FOMC stop up here and then the move at 2 o'clock stopped here? I want to see that. I want to see what I can see here. Let's see. Okay, so it basically hit another rejection block. That is exactly what it did, because the day before on Tuesday we rejected off of this fair value gap here, and then this here became a rejection block on its own, meaning that this hit this rejection block. Yep, and that was to the tick too. That's crazy. Hit the rejection block and then came down. And then what happened on FOMC? They came up to the next rejection block, which is here, and they dumped literally the halfway point of the rejection block, and then they dumped. That's crazy to even see, and I'm noticing this now in real time, but that would have been a crazy trade. I took a long, so I think I took the long like down here when I saw that they came back into the halfway point, I believe, of this fair value gap. What is it? Of this, I mean, not fair value gap, this order block, and they did end up moving higher, and that is where I took my long and I sent it in the Discord on paper, obviously, because I'm not going to be trading that on FOMC. But that is basically what ended up happening on FOMC. Very nice AM session, which doesn't happen often, but very nice AM session. And then FOMC moved. It didn't move crazy, but it did move a lot, leading down to these lows, basically coming down into the new week opening gap, rejecting off of it, going and using it as resistance later on Thursday. I didn't even look at the market, because on Thursday there was a bank holiday. And they decided to push price down all the way down to this previous previous week low, which was a very clear draw on liquidity down here. At this point, you could have imagined that Monday was the high of the week. We were gonna have a Thursday low with a reversal on Thursday, so it makes sense for them to do what they did down here on Thursday into the rejection block. I want to see where they kind of decided to stop price. If I'm being honest, it looks like in this rejection block, man, the rejection block is very strong. Yeah, literally. So they stopped price in this rejection block. The rejection block is very strong, and I have to figure out how to use it better, honestly. So I'm gonna study up on that itself. But then let's take a look on what happened on Friday. Now Friday, I was taking longs when we were very bearish. We were long all overnight session, extremely long. Price was moving crazy in the AM session, but I missed the short. I was a little bearish because there was an SMT above this high. Now I could erase all this stuff over here. Let's take a look real quick. Now there was an SMT above this high on Wednesday with NQ taking it out, but if we go take a look on ES, for example, the 15-minute on ES here, this is the same high on Wednesday. NQ made a higher high and ES made a lower high. That's basically where the idea came from. As you can see here as well, there was another SMT on the lower time frames with the 15-minute, for example. Here, this candle at 9:45 making a higher high, and the candle on 9:45 on NQ making a lower high. So that is another bearish SMT, meaning they were bearish, they were short, and I was trying to long them. I longed them in this fair value gap thinking this was a breaker, and they just cooked me. Honestly, they just cooked me. But it's weird because I was a little bit bearish, and I sent it in the group chat as well. If you take a look, literally the day before, I said everyone, my draw on liquidity for next week will be 21,350, meaning price is gonna head lower, and I was still trying to take longs basically just because I saw that we and I thought that this was enough, but we didn't come down to the order block. If I'm being honest, we did not come down to the order block. And this right here is the order block on the higher time frame, these down close candles. So I thought that when they came down here, or here at least, that they were gonna keep pushing up higher. Obviously we took liquidity and had an SMT up there, and I'll show the trade that I set up on the lower time frame because I remember it. But then I saw that they came down to the last down close candle that took liquidity, and they reacted off of it, closing inside of the range. So that's why I'm a little iffy on if we're bullish or bearish. The only reason why I would say bearish is because of all the news that's going out, but at the same time this makes me a little bullish just because they came down to the last down close candle, and I can't see, I see that they didn't hit the actually opening price of the last down close candle, but they did hit the candle, they hit the wick, so that counts as my model. Honestly, if you were taking this, you would take something like this with your stop below here. Obviously this is huge because you're playing with a lot of points, so you would use it very wisely, but I would target something like this for 500 points, and it would be a 3R, almost a 4R if you're trading the higher time frame, obviously. But they could come back into here, you know, maybe hit this balanced price range and, you know, dump again. But we'll see what they end up doing for Monday. And if you pay attention as well, let's see what they ended up hitting up there, because like I said, they did come up here on the 1 hour, tapping this fair value gap one more time. So that fair value gap has been very strong, but now we have generated equal highs up there, so that's why I'm also leaning towards bullish. If you look on the 4 hour, I guess we have a 4 hour fair value gap in there as well, which they are still respecting. I'm trying to see, I don't really see anything else that they hit up there. If I'm missing something, please let me know, but I really can't tell what they hit, you know, apart from, you know, coming back up here for these up close candles, which would be a bearish order block because those were the last up close candles that took out liquidity from the previous week. So this could be a bearish order block, and they are respecting it, so that's kind of why I'm also bearish. So like I can make stories for both sides, so we'll just have to see how price react. But we already came up to them here on Monday as well as sweeping liquidity up here, so it is a little bit weird that they came back one last time, and maybe that could be what they need to send it lower. But we'll have to see what price does when we get back here on Monday. Let's see what price does during the New York session or the open on Sunday, and then leading into New York session on Friday. But that is where I got my short idea from as well. Now let's hop into the 1 minute, because this is where it showed itself, and like we were very bearish. I just didn't take the trade. I don't know why, but we end up having that SMT up there, having a sweep on liquidity. We have that SMT on the 15-minute like I showed you earlier. We have this sweep of liquidity right here, so we end up taking liquidity there. If you hop on the 1 minute, extremely clean, man. I should have just took it, but I don't even know what I was thinking, honestly. I don't know what I was thinking. I just hesitated on it, honest. If I'm being 100% honest, I hesitated on it, and I didn't notice the 15-minute SMT. If I would have noticed the 15-minute SMT, you're also inside a 4 hour fair value gap, 15-minute SMT, 4 hour fair value gap. Then we have the sweep of liquidity right here. So this was buy side liquidity that just got taken out. Now we have an SMT up here again, as well as having a higher time frame SMT. And as you can see right here, we have a CISD order block, whatever you want to call it. Change of state of delivery. We have a bearish OB. So the trade entry for the craziest RR that you could have imagined. Literally the craziest trade right here. Could have had your, obviously, your stop above the SMT high or this high just for the safest. You also could have had it 10 points and gotten a shit ton of points off of this, just off the first drop back into the order block. For example, let's say you just want to target the Asia lows, for example, 252 points for a 25 RR. That is ridiculous, but you could have gotten as far as going down into the order block and gotten 300 points, making this a 31R and making $6,000, risking 200. This is crazy. This is crazy RR, and if you were able to hold it for the rest of the day, you're amazing. Like, this is crazy, and it is what it is. It happened, it showed up like it did, but dang, man, that's kind of ridiculous. Then I took, this is the long that I took here. Yeah, I took this long as we came into the order block. As you see right here, I took this entry, if I'm not mistaken. After we did this, I took an entry here. I long them here. My stop was below this low, and then I was targeting, I believe it was up here, but I also closed after 50 points. So, you know, it is what it is. But they did not come into this fair value gap. I was targeting this fair value gap. I was targeting this right here, and they just missed out on it. They never hit. But then I closed once they started to drop again, because I knew it was the end of this big move. This was a very big move, 300 and something point move, so there was no point of holding. And I sent this in the group chat either way. But that is basically the last trade that I noticed here on Friday, and I need to, like I said, keep my discipline going the way that I've been doing. I need to honestly do what I'm doing now, like what I just did right here. Like, okay, this happened overnight, this happened here, why did price stop here, what does this happen, like that. I need to do that right before I start trading, because that would give me the you know, I would be able to form an idea behind it. And I think I just gave myself an idea, which is just do this exact same thing that I'm doing with you on the morning of my trading. Once I'm setting up, seeing what price is doing, do that and pay attention where price stopped, why it turned around, where is there an SMT, is there a clear draw on liquidity, is my setup like lining up, is it gonna happen at the right time, and then just go with it from there. Honestly, if I'm being 100%, that is literally what I have to do. That is it. All I can say is thank you so much for watching this video. If you're watching this far, leave a comment that says Snooky Snook, and if you watch it, I'll know. That's an inside joke, by the way. If you don't get it, it's all right. Please make sure you smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, share with a friend who's also on their trading journey. Check out Tektronics PCs on Instagram. Their website should be up very soon. Use my discount code LBFLIP for 10% off. The link is down in the description for my Discord. Make sure you join, and if you're gonna join, just be active. That is all I ask. There's no expectations. No matter what type of trader you are, come in there and just send your trade. Talk about trading. Talk about your day. I don't care. Just talk. Let's make it a lit Discord. All the information is in there as well if you want to learn how to trade from me. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to continue my journey of just disciplining myself, because if I discipline myself and stop taking stupid trades, I will be printing in this market, especially with all the volatility that's about to come in. But I thank you so much for watching the video. I don't want to be here all day, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.